Well, we start our first full season in English football with Bournemouth today after a strong finish on the pitch last season, but financial worries behind the scenes. Mike Phelan has placated both the board and myself. An 80 million profit in the transfer window so far from Mike, but a great side on the pitch that is as strong as it was last season, in my opinion. And only one star player who I didn't want going has ended up leaving the club. So far, this has been an excellent window, and with the deals he's got on the horizon, it might yet get even better. Oh, and by the way, Bournemouth have a positive bank balance. Yes, hello, and welcome along to part 52 of the head coach with me, Daniel. We begin the season at AFC Bournemouth against Steven Gerrard, Sheffield United, still getting Premier League jobs, the old England golden generation. But look at that bank balance on the bottom right of the screen. Mike Phelan has been working miracles by producing an 80 million profit in the window so far, and he's left me with a squad I'm still quite excited about. Like for like replacements, sensible replacements in some areas, and to be fair, in a couple, he's brought a bit of youth into the squad, which I'm not going to complain about at all. If you're looking forward to seeing what he's done and how we get on today, as he sort of re-energised my love for this save by giving me a great transfer window, then please do put a thumbs up on the video. I think I don't want to speak too soon with a couple of weeks still to go, but based on what we've seen here, after our good stints with Hiroki Izumi at Gifu and at Yokohama with the English director of football, whose name completely escapes me now, I think we have to say that Kashima might have been a one-off and might have just been a poorly managed club, which, to be fair, as I've said before, isn't unrealistic. That does happen. And while it was incredibly disappointing, I think we might have reaped our rewards here, because I don't want to speak too soon, but let's have a look at what Mike Phelan's done. There's a lot to introduce, and so far, most of it is good news. First things first, we have 4 release players and 1 retirement, and while there's no first teamers in these transfers out, one of them, Roman Egan Riley, was in the first team when we got here, and I think, yeah, he did play a couple of cup games for the club and was on the bench for us once or twice. Sammy Freer was also in that boat but was out on loan last year. He's now gone to Cambridge on a permanent deal. And as we knew already, our backup goalkeeper, Alphonse Areola, has retired. He is now a terrible goalkeeping coach who has not been offered a job, but was useful for us and I think featured in 2 or 3 FA Cup ties. So big credit to him, happy retirement. But let's look at the more exciting ones. We're going to start with the transfers out and ignore the ins because there is one on that side of the screen already. But let's start with the outs from the start of the summer. And the first one is a deal that I was pretty happy with. It was a player who had pushed himself onto the transfer list who was recommended to go. Pablo Maffeo has gone. He was one of 3 right wing backs at the club and it was an area we were really lacking balance. So when the first things I saw in the window were, well, not a perfect replacement coming in, as you can see on the left of the screen, a player who naturally plays on the left, who's the same age for a similar price, I went, do you know what? As a like-for-like replacement, I'll take it. Maffeo goes to Lyon for £13 million. 32-year-old right back was on big money, and while he was a decent player, he was nowhere near as good as Max Aarons, and the youngster, Ollie Byrne, who's developing, needs football, so to have him as a backup was fine. So Pablo Maffeo moves on. We'll come to his replacement in a moment. Let's go to this season, because there have been some big deals. A further 96 million bought in with a few more million to come. And to be fair, he sold 2 backup players, 2 aging first teamers, and only 1 superstar who I'm a bit upset about, but he's replaced him, so I can't complain. The first one to leave is the one that I'd been saying all along I'd be happy to let go. He helps the bank balance sheet massively, and that is Justin Kluivert, who goes to Leeds for an initial 33 million. He is 30 years of age now. He's a good footballer. He's got pace, he's got quality, and he did okay towards the end of the year, but he's inconsistent. He wanted out anyway, and he had 1 year left on his deal. To get that money for him, I think it's a great effort. And the fact that he's replaced him with players on a lower wage, and he's maybe got 1 more replacement coming as well, I'm really pleased with the work he's done. So great deal to get that for him. Christian Spendy was a decent third choice striker, but that's all he was. He was recommended for the transfer list because he wasn't quite good enough for the level. We've got Leonardo and Solanke ahead of him. There are people like Veron who can play up front. There was no need for Spendy. And in the end, he goes for 7.5 million for Torino. And it's another one where we just trim the squad a little. A youngster can maybe be third choice. And again, we save a little bit of money. The one I'm upset about and would have liked to have kept was Ilya Zabani. He goes to Porto for 32.5 million initially. He was really starting to find his form. We questioned when we came in why he'd been at the club so long and not really played much football. He changed that for us and he was remarkable. He became an elite centre-half, but I guess the fact that he's now 26, reaching his peak, and at the start of the summer we were still in a very heavy negative balance there, I can understand why the deal got done. And to be fair, while it is only on a loan deal, he's brought in a like-for-like replacement of a very similar level. So I can't complain. He's the one I would have liked to have kept this summer. If we had, though, we'd be in a negative bank balance. The fourth one to go on this page barely kicked a ball for us. Mamadou Sonko, he wanted out. He wasn't really good enough. Very similar to Spendy, really. We didn't get the fee that we were linked with in January, but we did get nearly 10 million quid from Brentford. He's an average player. And while he would have been okay in the squad, we've got a good replacement. And there's potentially another gem coming in that position as well. So Sonko moves on at 24 years of age. And Lewis Cook, much at the other end of the age scale, he at the age of 32 moves on to Napoli. He was in the final year of his contract again. He wanted out. Remember, he was unhappy about us not playing young right wing backs or whatever. But he's just coming over the hill now. He was very slowly starting to decline. And I feel at the right age he's been sold where we can still get a bit of money back. So you've got to say well done to Mike Phelan. He sold a few of the players that were on the fringes of the squad. He sold a few that would have gone for nothing next summer, that were just going over the hill physically. And he's pulled down the average age of the squad generally by looking at this list here. I have, though, got to show you the one that's an experienced addition first, because the first signing of the summer to replace Maffeo, right wing back out, left wing back in. Sergio Reguilon, a name that you'll know well. He comes in as a squad player on a 2-year deal. I actually think this is a decent move. He did try and sign a superstar before it, who unfortunately went somewhere else. I think it might have even been Real Madrid. But certainly this guy is no problem at all. Yes, he's declining physically. He's 32 already. He's not in the best shape ever. But we didn't have a backup left wing back at all last season. We were having to move Aaron's over. Josh Doig isn't the most naturally fit. So for cup games, the odd midweek one, or where we've got half an hour to go, having an experienced Spanish international who's played for several top clubs just makes sense. So well done, Mike Phelan. You've saved the wages from Maffeo and you've spent the money on a bit more balance to the squad. I'm happy enough. After that, though, I have to concede I was a bit worried about whether we would get the quality and the youth and exuberance into the squad. And so far, I've been proven very wrong because we have got all of that in abundance. The pre-agreed deal was Marco Aragon, who's a young player, got a bit of potential. We'll see how he gets on in the 21s, but another player who might well feature on the bench occasionally later this year. The second one was a pre-agreed deal for a player we had on loan last season, was obviously with an obligation to buy, but for a backup centre-half to get Lilian Brassi up for 3.9 million on 25 grand a week, yeah, I'm perfectly happy with that. It's a good bit of business, it's a good deal, and while that's not a Mike Phelan doing, it is a good addition for the club. The third one is another youngster, Claudio Roberto, who comes in from Brazil. He's a 20-year-old fullback who, again, decent personality, bit of potential, no work permit as it happens at the minute, and is wanted on loan. I'm sure he'll end up going out again. But he's okay, and again, might be able to make it as a professional. Then we get to the three I'm very excited about, though. Because first of all, we got a replacement for Zabani, and I was starting to get a bit worried after a couple of weeks. He had an offer rejected for Victor Nelson, who was at Galatasaray, who was an elite centre-half. He tried to get Lewis Ferguson on a free agent in centre midfield, but he chose to go somewhere else, I think to Saudi. But Leonidas Sturgiu from Liverpool on loan is a very good addition. An elite centre-half, plays in the middle of the back three, got a professional personality, got pace, got bundles of ability on the ball, maybe slightly better on the ball than Zabani to be fair. Yes, not quite so great in the air, but Mepham will do that job next to him. And he's played at a number of big clubs as well, including Porto, where Zabani's been. So, at 27, a Swiss international, for 1.5 million for the season. I mean, That's not a bad deal, is it? Yes, we're paying him 85 grand a week, but it could be an awful lot worse. The next one is a really interesting one because you may remember back in the 5-year review, we talked about the fact that Barry had won a league title and the fact that they had players that would have got in my Kashima team. And this is one of their academy graduates in the Welsh Premier League. Where would he's in a banger save, by the way? George Rowlands is a centre-half at 20 years of age. 2-star ability, 4-star potential. Has played 150 games for Barry already. Is a Welsh under-21 international regularly. And he's a quality player. He's wanted on loan, which worries me because I can see a place for him in the first team. At the moment, he's the 5th best centre-half after the starting 3 and then the backup Brassia. But I really like him. He's a quality player. He's a good operator. And if we need to this season, he'll get some game time off the bench. If not, he may go out on loan. But for free, that is a cracking deal by the director of football. Not as good, though, as the final one. Because you may be wondering, who's replacing Justin Cliver and Mamadou Sonko? Are you not a little light out wide and in attacking areas? Well, not anymore, because yesterday, Facundo Fernandez got his work permit from River Plate for $12.5 million. And Mike Phelan has given us an 18-year-old Argentinian wonder kid. Do we have the next Messi? Do we have the next Di Maria? What have we got here? We've got a quality player. 3-star ability, 4-star potential. Wonder kid, realist, not a big wage. He's going to play a lot more football than he expects this year because that kid is absolutely phenomenal. Don't know if he's given him, yes he has, a release clause of 52 million. But he's going to make a 40 million profit on that kid, isn't he? What a wonderful bit of business. Well done, Mike Phelan. And it might be even more of a well done in a minute. Because if we have a look at the deal that's pending, the other replacement in attacking areas, well, it could well be Anthony Gordon. Now aged 28, coming towards his peak, he is still at Newcastle. He can play any of the front 4 positions. And for 12.75 million and 87 grand a week, we might be getting Anthony Gordon as well. Now, I'm going to stick my neck on the line looking at his attributes. He's better than Kluivert. He's certainly better than Sonko. And if you look at it this way and say, Sonko and Kluivert out for 40 to 50 million, Gordon and Fernandez in for 30 million, I think we say, yeah, that's pretty good business, isn't it? So Mike Phelan is giving us like-for-like replacements with quality and at better ages as well. So hopefully Gordon will agree to his wage cut. He'll agree to come into the club. Got a great personality, which I did talk about when I came here. A lot of resolute and professional personalities. And it looks like he's kept that in mind when signing players as well. So I'm thrilled with the transfer window so far. From the circumstances we were in and the fact that he had to make such a big profit, to bring in players of that quality is a remarkable feat. And you've got to say, Mike Phelan, well done to you. I should give a shout out to Richard Hughes as well, because on the staff in front, he's brought in a number of staff as well. We've got a new recruitment analyst who's excellent. We've got an under-21s assistant manager who's solid. And even towards the end of last season, he was bringing in plenty. A great scout from Brentford after they got relegated. A scout from Norwich after they struggled a bit. And Michael Cooper, performance analyst, very solid and young. And the same for Ben McFarlane. So, look, on and off the pitch, we've done as much as we can. The director of football and the technical director have been exceptional. And they've proven that maybe FM24 is much better. And that Kashima was a one-off. Because both at Hiroki Izumi at Gifu and here in particular, we have had 2 absolutely brilliant bits of work. But there's still 2 weeks to go. And that could still be ruined. We look at the outs at the minute. There's a few loans potentially going again to our feeder club CFR Cluj. It looks like John Hughes, who featured at the end of last year, might be one of them. Thiago Martinez is trying to force his way out. But don't forget, you might think Lewis Cook hasn't been replaced, but Ezekiel Fernandez came back from his loan. And he's basically 90% as good. Maybe missing a little bit physically and a little bit of determination. But he's a good footballer. We've still got Martinez for now as well. I mean, we've got a decent squad. I'm happy with our start to the season now. So let's go and do our job on the pitch. We're going to set up with the same style away at Sheffield United. This is going to be a really difficult game for us. And on paper, we've got all of the big boys back to back with Liverpool, United, Spurs. Then a run later on where we've got the likes of Arsenal, City and Everton, who have been a regular top 6 side back to back. So we've got to try and pick up points in these little periods. We've got Luton in the Championship in the Carabao Cup. That's going to be a tricky game as well. So let's go straight through to Sheffield United by seeing where we're expected to be in a season preview. We are expected 16th, but we're pretty much level with Leeds, Palace and Leicester. So again, the media, the board, the fans, everyone expecting a mid-table finish. And with the squad we've got, hopefully we can do that whilst developing some talent. Sheffield United are a weird one. They've been promoted, but they're expected to finish 11th. Steven Gerrard's in charge. I'm sure it's not just him that's caused that. Let's have a look at what they've done in a transfer window. Wow. They've spent 102 million last season. That's while they were mostly in the Championship, albeit 40 million of that on Shea Charles after they came up, who's a very good midfielder. Have they lost much in the summer? Not for much money there. And then this season, another 35 spent, no money on player sales. So they're definitely gambling. They're getting big signings in. Cameron Humphreys, another. Lots of centre midfielders. I wonder if Steven Gerrard's going to bring a diamond out or something. He tried to do it at Villa for a little while, didn't he? So let's go and get through the inbox messages as we reach the start of the Premier League season. According to the media, Sheffield United will be favourites for this one, but I'm hopeful we can cause a shock. I wouldn't consider it much of one because we've been gritty at our best. With a new look back three, will it take time to adjust or will we be able to get straight into it? Season ticket sales are up slightly as well, which is important at this stage. Still not sure it's going to be enough to sell out though. And this is the team and squad we've gone for. Sturgeon will make his debut at the back, replacing Zabani from last year. Fernandez, I've decided, will come straight in on the left-hand side, the Argentinian wonder kid. I thought about going Solanke and Leonardo, but in the end, I went for the new boy. We'll see if he can shine. We have got a few new contracts as well. So some of the older boys have signed one. Siganov signed a 2-year deal on reduced terms. I'll just show you the contractual situation here. Senesi is out this year at 32. Ezekiel Fernandez, back from loan, has got 1 year left. But otherwise, Solanke signed new 2-year deal. Siganov the same. Karnazeki and Leonardo both signed 5-year contracts. So the club's in a good position. The only area of the pitch we've really got concern now is left wing back because Josh Doig has been transfer listed by request for £68 million. There is interest from some of the European and Saudi elite, and I would imagine that we might get an offer for him. So we could end up losing him, but Reguilón solid. And if we do, I trust Mike Phelan to get someone else in because that's the way he's gone this summer. Alex Scott has been wanted, but no offers so far, and only from Saudi at the minute. So I'm feeling fairly confident. I'm feeling fairly expectant of the team we've got out today. So let's see how we get on. We've got Karnazeki in goal. Mepham, Sturgeon the new boy, and Senesi the back three. Sturgeon in the middle means Mepham moves out to the right of the three, but that'll be no problem. We've got Aarons and Doig as the flying wing-backs, with Scott and Adams the midfield two, and then Siganov and the new wonder kid Fernandez off Marcos Leonardo up front. Same tactics, same style. We're still going to try and be resolute, but hopefully we've got a bit more consistent talent on the counter and a little bit of a gem in this youngster. He'll come in as the number 11. Let's see how he gets on in this one. Well, to be fair, I'm looking at this Sheffield United side, and it may be famous last words because there's a couple of names I don't know in there, but with Elliot Anderson joining, we've seen Charles, they've still got Norrington Davis, we were linked with Cresswell on loan in January, Sam Tickle in goal as well. I'm not sure they're that much stronger than us to be expected to finish in 11th as a promoted side. Imran Losers in the midfield as well, Sarkic, Bell, Silva among the subs, Manuel Benson too. I mean, it's a solid side, but I wouldn't say it's one that's going to just walk to survival as the media are predicting. But then I guess that's what was expected of Burnley in real life this season. It doesn't always work out. Let's go and have a look at the first half of this game. Hopefully we can get off on the right foot. Just hope we can get the first goal. That's going to be the key. We based all of our wins on clean sheets last year. The record still stood. We only won 2 games where we didn't keep a clean sheet. We conceded more than 1. We didn't win any league games. It is based on defence that we're going to have success, and Sturgeon, I hope, will be a part of that. It's been a very quiet half an hour with no shots from Sheffield United at all. Only 1 from us in fairness, but we're doing all right. So let's hope that we can have a more exciting second half, but staying in the game and then pushing forward. It's been the way we've built this club. Well, what a start to the season that is. Half-time, no highlights, corners galore for Sheffield United and nothing else. Victor Siganov had the one chance at the end of the half, I'm presuming, because he's now got a very good match rating. We might have to make a couple of changes here because we don't look like scoring, I will say that. We get to the hour mark. Leonardo is struggling physically. That is a bit of a concern. But it does mean we've got the chance to bring on the super sub. Dom Solanke will make his appearance, and he declining a little physically, but he's still doing okay. We're going to give Fernandez a few more minutes. I mean, to be fair, no one else is really playing badly at all. I might bring on Reguilon soon because Doig does struggle towards the end of games, but we are the better side. We're restricting them to nothing. And as the home side, who are favourites for this, the onus is probably on them. I'm looking at the fitness now, though. I'm going to take Fernandez off, who's nervous, for Veron, who's motivated to make a difference. I've got Scott and Adams in the middle. Do I go Fernandez here? Yes, I do. He's going to come on for Alex Scott. Doig will be replaced by Reguilon for his debut. And we'll save the last one a few more minutes. Might try and get the youngster Burn on again. But it has been a solid defensive display so far. And clean sheets are the key. As Veron nicks it on the left high up the pitch. Here we go. Can we smash and grab one again? Veron to the byline. Back to Reguilon. Into Dom Solanke. Off the bar and away. Stigankov can't keep it in. It's a corner kick. Thought Reguilon was going to get an instant assist there. Ziganov on the corner kick. Who's at the back post? There should be a couple of options if he can find them. Goes a bit near in the end. Solanke gets it away. Or is beaten to it, I should say. As Ziganov now has a free kick, which Tickle puts wide. Might take Aaron's off in a minute. Get Burn on. But Ziganov has got another corner and the pressure is starting to build. We're finishing strong again. Into the back post. Tickle does well. This is where I do miss having a Lewis Cook on the bench or someone like that. I think we are going to go final sub. Aaron's off. And on will come Ollie Burn. I could bring Damsgaard on in midfield, but no. Ollie Burn at right wing back. And with 5 to go, we've been the better side here. We've gone positive to try and win it. And with 3 minutes stoppage time, it doesn't look likely. But first game of the season, away from home. I know it's not been the most thrilling to watch, but the same hallmarks are there. A clean sheet, no shots on target against. And on the counter-attack, we looked a threat. We were unlucky, but we've picked up a point. We've continued where we left off with another clean sheet. So first day of the season, Steven Gerrard is complaining because he's not impressed with a board draw. Sturgeon made his debut, as did Reguilon and Fernandez, and all of them did okay. We're only going to get stronger, aren't we? Following the signing of Fernandez, we should remove this recruitment focus. Okay, I'm at your command, Mike Phelan. You do what you want. But because that was such a bore fest, and we've been a little bit shorter on time in this episode than we would normally, let's go ahead to next weekend, see if there's any more transfer work, see if Anthony Gordon joins, because then you'll basically get to see the transfer window live. We'll be back throughout the week with any updates. We'll go all the way to the Brighton game and see who's come in. Well, a day later, and the inevitable has happened. Thiago Martinez has been angling for a move away from the club. He wants to go, and he's now going to get his wish. 3.6 million from Hull City. Would have been a solid backup and a good personality in the squad, but hopefully with him and Cook moving out, Mike Phelan will get one in. And otherwise, with the 2 we've got plus Fernandez, we're in pretty good nick anyway. Well, the week continues and it looks like the squad is getting trimmed because one of the youngsters, Jack Wood, has had a couple of offers accepted, both including good profit of next sales, and he has got a bit of potential, so that might be useful. We also had another accepted offer for Thiago Martinez. That was from Anderlecht this time for the same price, and a few youngsters have now gone to Cluj on loan, including John Hughes, who you'll remember featured at the end of last year. So definitely some movement on the out front. No news from Anthony Gordon yet. We've got 3 days, I think, till our next game. Let's see if we've got a new signing to help our attack. Well, he tried, did Mike Phelan, but for the 3rd time this summer, he's been beaten to a big name signing. Anthony Gordon, for some reason, decided that he was going to play for Inter Milan instead of us. I mean, who in their right mind would do that, eh? He goes there, and unfortunately, we miss out on him. So we've got 2 days to see if any more offers go in. Otherwise, it's as we were, but potentially without Thiago Martinez. There is an offer from Mike Phelan, this time for an experienced centre-half that Brighton, PSV, Feyenoord and Fiorentina are all chasing. Nicolo Casali is 18 million quid. He's bloody good though, I'll give him that. 3.5-star ability, a proper rock at the back, resolute personality, winds people up, argues with officials, great on the ball. Yeah, do you know what? I wouldn't mind that. We do need a bit of experience in the team in those areas. Lots of players potentially going out on loan, a few moving to the lower leagues too. I mean, I would have liked an attacking addition or a centre midfielder, but Casale is a good player, and then it'll probably allow him to loan Rollins out. Makes sense overall. Well, we get through the week and into the final one of the transfer window. Another offer accepted for Martinez, more players out on loan and a couple of staffing additions. But the big news, we missed out on Anthony Gordon, of course. Casale may be the next man in, but overall it's been a good window so far. I don't want to criticise Mike Phelan. He's had a balancing act to do, particularly with the financial situation at the start of the summer. And so far, given the circumstances, it's probably about as good as we could have hoped for. We've got a wonder kid, we've got like-for-like replacements in, and so far, we're not really weaker in any position. So, massive credit to Mike Phelan. We're back with a good director of football by the looks of it, and hopefully we can continue to improve on the pitch and build on last season with another mid-table finish or better. We are going to be back pretty quickly. We'll get through the next 2 games, and of course, with these being a director of football save, and particularly with it looking like it's going to be busy, I've got to show you it here, haven't I? We'll do Aston Villa and deadline day before we move on for a big chunk of the season. But if you're looking forward to that, you did enjoy our, well, pretty tepid start to the season on the pitch, but another clean sheet and a number of good bits of work in the transfer window. And please do put a thumbs up on it. Let me know if you agree with me regarding Mike Phelan's work to do the job that helps the club financially and improves the squad, or at least matches what we had last year. I think we have to give him credit. And most importantly, and the thing that Azumi did as well, is he's giving us balance, which letting Maffeo go and signing Reguilon just makes me think, yeah, he's actually looking at the squad planner. He's thinking about where the squad needs depth. And that maybe gives me some more promising and encouraging signs for the future. We'll see if that continues on deadline day though. For now, if you want to stay up to date with it, subscribe and turn that notification bell on. If you missed our one-off guide yesterday relating to dynamics, you can find that up in the eye above. We'll be back with Southend United tomorrow too. We had deadline day there on Saturday. If you've missed the new season, it's up in the eye above, as well as the Twitch channel, the football podcast, and so much more. But thank you very much for being here for a new season. A very important one for AFC Bournemouth. At the moment, it looks like a good decision to be here, because Mike Phelan is doing a fabulous job. 1 week of the window to go. We might be giving our director of football some more praise again. See you there to find out if we are.